Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is Reverend Wayne Holmes, and this is your moment in ministry. This is the third video. This is part three. And so we're going to go through part three of what's going on in the life of Jesus today. The first part is the betrayal. That's when Jesus basically told his disciples at the Last Supper that one of y'all is going to betray me. Part two was the garden. That's when we see the humanity of Jesus really come through, but then we see the divine of Jesus really show how much he truly loves us. And then we have part three. Now, I'm going to say this to y'all. Part three is the most difficult part of this day. Um, if you have not seen it, there's a movie that's out that's called The Passion of the Christ. I would really suggest, this is just my own personal opinion, I would suggest you watch it because it really gives you a good depiction of what happens today. But this one right here, this is called The Trial. And if you ever wondered what the big deal was and why all this was, why it's as serious as it is, this is when all that really begins to be answered. It's not the answer, but it's the beginning of the answer. So, what happens in part three? Um, we know that while he was in the garden, Judas showed up with the soldiers. He betrayed Jesus with a kiss. And actually, at that point in time, the soldiers went to get Jesus. Peter cuts off a soldier's ear. Jesus tells him, "Yo, put your sword away. I got to go through this. I got to do this." Um, and so they move on to the trials. Now, here's the deal with all the trials. Well, first, before we get to that, the first thing you need to understand is this: once Jesus is arrested, yo, when I say he gets beat, he gets beat. Before there is even a trial, he gets beat. And he's beat by soldiers literally all night long. There's a Roman legionnaire that's like the head Roman guard who basically is whipping him. And the whip that he uses is like a leather strap. And it has these lead beads on the end of each thread. And the whole purpose of the bead is so that when he takes a strap and he hits him with it, the beads get stuck in Jesus' skin. So what he has to do is he has to pull it out, pull the whip out. Now, if you can imagine somebody whipping you, and every time that strap hits you, the bead on the end gets stuck in your skin, and then he yanks it out. Pieces of flesh are coming out with this. And Jesus like goes through this. He endures this. Now, if you stop and you think about it, Jesus is Jesus. He really could have said, "Yo, I'm done. I'm finished. I am the Son of God. Yo, I'm about to smite you. This is going to be over." But he didn't. He went through that all night long. All night long. This is like, through his capillaries and his skin to the veins in his skin, and it goes all the way down. Oh my goodness, he gets beat so much, like just pieces of flesh are literally taken out of him. So that's the first. That's the start of this. And so that's the beating that he took before there's even a trial. And then here's the thing that just, you talk about what he had to endure after getting beat all after getting beat. Mm, After that beating, he has gone trial. Well, here's the thing: stuff that you don't know about the trial. First, there are actually three different trials. Three different trials that Jesus has to go through. The first one is through Ananias and the Sanhedrin. That one is at night. Now, here's the thing: they weren't supposed to be doing trials at night. Picture this: you get caught up on a charge, and they take you to district court, and they decide they're going, number one, before you even go to trial, they're going to put you in a cell, and the guards are going to actually go ham on you. And then they're going to decide at about 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, oh, after we done went ham on you all this time, now we're going to take you in front of a judge and let a judge decide what's your fate. You're like, hold on, the court is closed for real. It has been closed for a while. That's what we're dealing with right here. Jesus is like, yo, this court has been closed, but they still had the trial because they knew what they were doing is wrong. So that was the first trial. The second trial he goes through is through Caiaphas and the Sanhedrin. That one is at dawn. Again, no, illegal. Illegal. And then the third and final trial is the one that we all know about, and the one that we all hear about is the one with Pontius Pilate. That's in the early morning. Here's the thing. When it comes to the Sanhedrin that we talk about with those first two trials, here's what the Sanhedrin is made up of. And I'm going to read this because I have a piece of paper right here. I'm actually going to read this. In the Sanhedrin, there are 2 presiding officers, there are 22 chief priests, 23 elders, 23 scribes, and there's a total of 71 members, 71 people who are questioning Jesus. Can you imagine that? 2 officers, 2 presiding officers, 23 chief priests, 23 elders, 23 scribes, and 71 people who are questioning Jesus? And all of it is illegal? All of it is something they weren't supposed to be doing? Yeah. So this is a setup from the get up. So this is all what's going on. This is all what's happening. And if you stop and you think about it, Jesus Christ had to go through this knowing that everything that was happening to him on a human level was wrong. But also knowing that everything that was happening to him on a divine level was right. Because on a divine level, everything that was happening, the worst of the worst, from knowing that the person who's going to betray you, you're breaking bread with, from knowing that the people who's supposed to be your right hand are going to betray you and deny you 3 times, from knowing that the ones who, while you trying to pray, who are supposed to be keeping watch for you, are falling asleep, and you are begging your Father in heaven to just ease up and let this pass. But then coming to the resolve that, yo, what has to be done, and I'm willing to go through it. He had to go through all that and be beat all night, and then go through 3 trials that were just totally backwoods, fake, just trifling people. Man, that's the start of it all. And it only from here, unfortunately, gets worse. For him, yes. But for us, man, it's salvation. It's salvation. So when you wonder why this is so real to people like me, it's because, and people like you, because we understand that everything that he went through it and he had you in mind. He was thinking about you and how much he loves you. That's our Savior.